What's Good podcast.
Are you ready?
Your number one source
to all the keys in the industry.
With Brianna Jovahn.
It's the What's Good podcast.
What's good? Hey, ladies and gents, this is your girl, Brianna Jovahn, and we are here with another episode of What's Good podcast, season 8, and we are still into real estate. As you can see, we have another guest with us. Her name is Ngozi.
Hello.
I said it?
Yes, Ngozi.
Okay, so we're going to continue this conversation. As you guys know, we do not have interviews. Instead, we have genuine conversations. So let's get into it. All right, so we're going to start off with an icebreaker. You ready for yours?
The what?
Icebreaker.
Okay.
All right, so your icebreaker is, if you could design your dream home without any budget constraints, what unique feature or element would you absolutely want to include?
Okay. So I am more like a modern. So I would love to have like a glass house. I know that's crazy. I just love like a high ceiling, like a glass house. Basically, the front of the home is gonna be all glassed out, like glass. And then same half of the back, glass home. I just like the air, the modern, and not having it. I don't like a dark house. So
Like yours real clean, but still lit.
yes, definitely clean, still lit. Not a lot of colors. You'll be shocked that I will add a lot of black in that house. Keep it light, but then probably use a lot of black finishes. And it's just complement each other so good. Yeah.
I love that. That sounds cute.
Yes, everything will be black. Maybe the countertop, the sink, because it has all the lights, and then just paint it white. That's just me, and the color is just perfect.
Now I wonder what your house looks like.
My house is just a regular house. I don't know how to explain it.
Like, is it modern, like you mentioned?
Yeah, it's a little bit modern. It's not custom built, so I couldn't get as much windows and glass the way I wanted. But yeah, it's a lot of black also. I always want maybe one color, so I got a pop of red somewhere, and it's like black and some grays and stuff.
I love that. So it's funny because my cousin had a white and black wedding, and her pop of color was red, so she had red roses everywhere.
Yeah, red is my favorite color. That's why.
I love
Actually, at my wedding, my girls, the ladies, they wore red.
Oh, that's
So
cute.
the dress was red.
Oh, I love that. She said just a little pop.
Yeah, just a little pop, but then everything else just gotta come down.
Gotcha.
Yeah, we don't need it to be too much.
That's true. So that's why you got your black, you got your white, you got your glass. All that is an ambiance.
Yeah, and just some grays in and out.
I love that. So it's minimalist? Is that what you would call that?
Yes, not too much. I don't like it I don't like a lot of
Too
stuff.
busy?
Just keep it clean, minimalist. But then also I want you to be like, okay, I see you, kind of thing. Like you're trying to figure it out, but it's not too much. Like where's the rest of the things? But you don't really need it, but it's still there, kind of thing. I don't know.
You're so cute. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into the genuine conversation.
Okay.
How we usually start is, who is the guest? So for you, who is Ngozi?
Okay, who am I? Well, let's say I'm Ngozi. I am a mother of 3 kids, 2 boys and a girl. I am a wife, born and raised in Nigeria, grew up in Detroit, but Dallas got me now. So we're here.
Still in the D.
Thank you. Actually, yeah, we're still in the D. So, but yeah, this is my final destination. I'm not going anywhere. I love Dallas. I am the 9th child out of 11 kids.
Big
One
family.
brother and the rest of my sisters. So I have a big family. I'm a friend, a sister. I love to travel. My family is everything to me. And beside my family and travel, you can have me talk about real estate all day. So real estate is everything too. So that's
I love that. Even when she talked about real estate, you had already a big smile, but it just grew up a little bit bigger when she talked about real estate.
My husband always said, don't get her started. Once I start talking about real estate, he just find his way out. He just like, yeah, we ain't living today. So he's out. So that's just like, that's everything.
That's your thing. So I want to know, as far as the influence of where you are today, was anybody in real estate, or is that something that you just jumped into? How did you get to where you are today?
So, well, my dad is actually who I always like. Basically, he was the one that was in real estate. He wasn't selling. he just invests a lot in real estate. So growing up back home in Nigeria, because my dad was in Nigeria, so he bought a lot of lands. He tried to build houses, but he bought more land, and he always says that you can never have enough land. That's one thing my dad, like every dollar he gets, he buys land. He owned 2 hotels. So that's like the thing that I kind of like seeing him is like, he's always be like, if I can buy land, if I ever need money, I'll sell the land and get the money. Cause like my dad don't buy, he's not like a car person. And I remember like, I'm not sure which of my siblings asked him that like, can you get a new car? Cause he had like 2, 3 other cars, but it wasn't flashy.
Gotcha.
So my dad was like, no, they'll still work. If this is not working, I'll move to the next one. Both of them work. So if this is getting fixed, I will drive this car. And my dad was like, but I'm not sure which of my siblings asked. I knew someone asked that question, but he's basically saying that I'm not spending money on cars if I don't have to. But he's like, see real estate? And he always be like, if I need anything, if I buy this land, it's gonna stay the same value or higher. But the car doesn't appreciate.
It's gonna depreciate.
It depreciate. But my lands always appreciate. If I ever need money, instead of me going to borrow money, I'll sell one of my land and I'll sell it more than that. So hearing my dad talk about real estate like that, even though he wasn't selling, he just buy. Even now in my family or in our family, we have lands just sitting out there that we haven't touched, like 50 acres. It's like my dad just buy land just to buy land. So we have land. So that's kind of like something I always see him do growing up. So when I got here, it just was not an option because of where I'm from.
Yeah.
They always want us to do everything medical. I started in pharmacy school. I just knew that I wanted to do real estate, but my sister never approves it. It's just not what she wanted because she wanted me to go into medical. And I just kept fighting it. And just when I got married and had a conversation with my husband, he's like, you always talk about real estate. It's just something, and I watch it on TVs and I read about it. I just sit around and I look up houses for no reason. And he's like, just go do it. Like it's almost like he was tired of hearing me talk about it. And he's like, please go get this done. And so I got it done. I was pregnant for my second son, and I started taking the class, and right when I was almost finished, I had my son.
So you had 2 things you were celebrating.
Yeah. So I had a son, and that's like maybe when he was like 2 months, by the time I finished and go take my exam, and here I am.
I love this
And
for
that's
you.
it.
Do you still talk to your dad about the things that you're doing today in real estate?
No, I don't. My dad passed away before I could actually make it out here.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm so sorry to hear
No,
that.
it's okay. But those are the motivation that actually keeps me, like, that actually always get me going, because it is the foundation that she laid for my family, that my family back home, at least let me just put it on my brother, is surviving without, whether he has like a job with his degree or not. It is the real estate that my dad, like the hotels that he has, that my brother like is basically living off of those. And even though he don't sell my dad's land and anything, but it's always something that if anything ever happened that we will need to, yeah, he can. I mean, he always be like, if you need to start off anything great, you can take one of the land or something like that. So before he passed away, 2 of my sisters got married before then. And whenever he always give us a gift. The 2 sisters got a land. Every one of my sisters who got married got a land before my dad passed away. But I didn't get the chance to, because he passed away before them. At least my 2 older sisters who got married, my dad buy them all the going away gift, and he always give them a land. So those is like all the things. So I don't talk to my dad about it, but I talk to my sisters about it sometimes.
And he's still here with, like we was talking about earlier, he's still here in spirit.
Definitely.
So I'm sure he's absolutely proud of everything that you've been doing.
I hope so.
And going to do.
I hope so, because that man is hard to impress, but I think so. I hope so.
I do want to tap into generational wealth. A lot of times people say it, but you are actually a product of it. Seeing that your sisters received land when they got married, you seeing your father do business deals and buy the land. And even though you were young, that still made an impression on you.
Definitely.
And so with that, what are you doing now, or any ideas that you have that you want to give to your kids, your little ones?
See, that's like that my dad mentality that I'm trying to follow up. So, I came here, I couldn't take any of those land, and the value down, back home and here is not the same. But I have established here. The goal is to buy houses, buy land as much as I can, because like I said, they don't make them anymore. If you buy it $1 today, it will be $2 tomorrow. So what I'm doing now is I'm trying to get as much land as I can, try to get a house, like, rental properties. The goal is I get as much that my kids can literally like, okay, when I'm no longer here, they can survive without me, or at least get by, just basically setting things up, because we don't want my kids to, how do I say that? Basically, you want to set them up so they don't have to go through what we went through.
Right.
So the goal is to get more land, get more investment there, because regardless of what, it's always going to go up.
I love that. And so you already talked about your supportive husband. How do you guys maintain these goals together to say, hey, this is what we're doing, this is the money that we're putting to the side? Because some folks, I don't want to do that, or I want to do this. And sometimes people aren't on the same page. So how are you and your husband making sure that these goals are being accomplished?
So, we talk about it a lot. I think it's like right from when we first started dating, we always talk about what we want in life, even though there's a lot of changes that happen in those courses, but we always know that the goal is to leave generation well. So what we do is when we have some money, we put some away for investment. I don't care what is happening. I don't care if you run out of gas, we ain't touching that dollar in that account. So that's the kind of way we do it. We structure ourselves. We have this money, we have to pay bills, pay this. And even before whatever we have left, we make sure we put some things away to be able to reach those goals. Because if we just
Spend it,
it's gone. So just like we have an account, if we ain't got money in there, that's not money. We ain't got no money. Zero balance, that means we're broke.
Right.
And that's what it is.
So there's rules in place.
Yes.
To make sure that these things are going to get done.
Yes.
Because again, this is priority.
It is priority. Yeah. We're getting old, and as much as we're working, we know eventually in a couple of years, we're going to slow down. But even if we didn't save enough, we can sell one house for our retirement.
Right.
So that's how it is. We setting up for the kids to be good, but also when both of us like, okay, yeah, we can do this no more. Like, okay, let's sell 123 Main Street. And 123 Main Street can sustain us maybe for another 5 years or a couple years. And if Main Street run out, we sell 2-3 another Main Street. Just basically like that. But those are all part of our retirement plan.
Nice. Okay, so let's get into real estate. We talked about the investment side. I want to talk about the agent side as well. So, because you have both sides, which is amazing. When somebody comes to you and say, hey, I want to invest in my first property, what are some of the things that you check off your list in order to help them get to that next stage of course, accomplishing that type of goal?
Okay. I ask some personal questions because I want to know how much you have saved up for this. Are you buying it? Because, there's some people who buys it, like say, hey, okay, I don't have a house yet. I want to start out building my real estate back. I'm going to buy it as first house because they don't have 20% to put down. They probably only have just 3%, 5%, or 3.5%, whatever they have. If we're starting on that, they can, just wanted to see, where are you? Are you coming in as an investor? Are you coming in like, okay, I'm going to live in the house? So if you're going to live in the house, there's so many ways about like, I'm ready to invest or I'm ready to buy real estate. Where are you coming for? Are you coming for investment? Are you coming to live in a house? How much do you have saved up? How much don't you have? So when we talk about, let's just assume that they wants to invest, but they want to live there for a couple of years. Like, okay, good. At least you're going to live there for 2 years or so. We can buy it. You don't have to bring in 20%. That's optional. But if you're coming in as an investor, the loan will require you to bring in 20%. So you can stay there. For those who doesn't have a lot of money to get started, do the first investment. It doesn't have to be your dream home. And that's what I always tell people. I know everyone wants the big house, the first, the Texas big, the everything. I'm like, no, not everyone started. I didn't even start at a big house. So just get something that you can afford, that is affordable, that's nice. Definitely not bid down that you have to call to fix every day, but just get some things done. Stay there for like a year, get your money up, maybe get a better job, save up a little bit, and either you can rent it out. That's how it works. Because okay, let's just assume not everyone is able to afford $500,000 house.
True.
Some people can only do 250. Some people can do only 300. And if that 250, that's where you start there and stay there for like 2-3 years or as much as you can. Save up extra money. Even if you don't have a lot of money left, you can refinance. If you already have up to $100,000 in equity, you can refinance, pull some $100,000 out. It's still your home. Rent it out. Use the $100,000, put a down payment on your next house. Now you went from maybe $300,000 to like $500,000-$600,000 because now you have enough down payment.
Nice.
Yeah, and I tell people this, like people like, oh well, I don't want to be responsible in paying a mortgage, but you're paying rent. Look at your rent as you're putting money away. They're telling you you have to pay your rent every month. You are paying that rent, but you're not getting your rent back. But you're paying your mortgage. You're gonna get it back, but you only get it back when you move out of this house. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So when you move out, you get your money back. When you refinance, you get the money to move on to the next step. So what I always check out is just basically ask you, like, what are you coming for? If you're coming as an investor, and then just look at it as a business part. And also, most people thinking, okay, I invest, I'm gonna be making extra $1,000 or so. Depending on how much you're putting down, depending on what comes with the house, you might only be making $200 for a start. But then what about that $200 in 5 years? That $200 is going to turn into maybe making over $1,000 extra, but you have over $300,000 or $200 or even $50,000 in equity. So there's so many ways to look at it, and that's what I try to ask people. What do you want? What is your goal? Are you looking to sell and get more money to move, or you just want to keep investing? So there's so many things that we look into before I can just be like, okay, let's go buy.
That's crazy, because like that at that point, you're not realizing, but it's just a stepping stone to what's next.
Yes, it is.
Nice.
It is.
So you mentioned, if, for example, if I wanted to live in the house, right? What are some of the resources that will help me not do that 20% down payment?
So if you want to live in the house, I mean, there's FHA, that's conventional. Those are the two loans. I mean, there's USDA loan, but those ones you have to go a little bit like a rural area. You can possibly get a government loan that you don't have to put any money down. You might have to bring your closing costs. Now, that's where I come through. If it is a builder, we can ask the builder, say, hey, cover the closing costs so we can get some money. Then you can basically go into closing with zero down. If it's not a builder, we can talk to the homeowner, like, oh, well, basically negotiate, like, hey, we don't have money for closing costs, so we need $10,000, we need $15,000 for closing costs, because the lender already gave us an estimate of how much we might need. There is some program in FHA where they do give you a down payment assistance, where you don't have to bring money in, and then we can either go to the builder or the homeowner to negotiate your closing costs. So there's still a possibility of not coming in, but let's just assume that you're not qualified, because some of those things you have to qualify for it.
Right.
Let's say you're not qualified, you have to bring in. So FHA, the minimum you can bring in FHA is 3.5%. So whatever the price of the home is 3.5%. So you'll bring that, and either if we're getting a closing cost, then you only bring in your down payment. If you have to bring in more than that, then you bring your down payment and closing costs. Conventional, it just depends. Some conventional is also 5%, and then there's a minimum of 3%. So it just depends on which one. If you're coming in with no down payment, there's other programs that we can use to help you. You don't have to bring any money in. But then if you're like, no, well, I have this money saved up, then this is how. But all these programs work only if you're going to live in the house.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So if you are being an investor, those program doesn't apply to you. So, but that doesn't mean that you can still get your closing costs paid by the seller, whether you're an investor or not, because those ones are easily negotiated with the seller or the builder. The programs for zero down or the minimum down is basically you have to leave that. Yeah.
So, okay, you said a lot of interesting things, and I'm interested in knowing, because of course, to be in these type of industries, you have to stay afloat of all the resources and information. Real estate changes by the day.
Yeah, that's true.
How do you stay afloat with all the information, all the resources, to make sure that your clients are taken care of?
So with the lender part, every time I'm working with a lender, I call them. I check in every few days, sometimes a couple of times a day, depending on how the deal is. I always have all this real estate news. Everything that happened comes to my phone, comes to my email. So one thing that seems like I'm going to research about it.
Right.
I'm going to look it up, find out what's going on. If I'm not getting enough information, shout out to my broker. She's awesome. I call her like, okay, I heard about this. Like, what's going on? She's like, oh, don't worry about it. Okay, this is what's going on. And we talk about it. I have places that I can research about it. They can send me information. Once I see something I'm not sure about, I'm looking it up. I'm calling. Right now, the rate just dropped a little bit. So my lender told me about it before I even called it, but I got the news. But before I could even like let him know, he already like, okay, yeah, we got a good rate. It dropped.
Yeah.
So those are the things, like if he don't call me, I'm calling him. So we're just kind of like, also shout out to my lender. He's awesome.
Nice.
I have some awesome teams, everyone I work with. But yeah, so it's like, find a way to get it. They let me know, or I get the news and I'm looking it up, or I'm calling. I always try to make sure that I'm on top of everything, just so that my client is not missing any good deals or any news. We don't want to make a mistake.
When it comes to the trends, what is one trend that you're seeing in real estate? Positive, negative, whatever the case may be, that you feel I have to stay on this trend? Because you never know if it's going to go left or right.
Your face. Because it's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot. I don't even know which one to say, but right now I know everyone is doing like social media.
Yeah.
Is like one of the biggest trend is like everyone is on social media. I know, like
that's how I found you.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the thing. The people don't believe me, but I am not a big social media person. I don't want to say I'm shy, but
you got a big
I'm
audience.
trying. I'm trying.
You got a pretty big audience.
I feel like if I don't have to, I would not be that. But I'm grateful for social media because it has really helped my business a lot. So, but yeah, social media is one of the biggest, like, it's like, if you're not there, are you really in real estate?
Right.
So that's one that I know I'm trying to keep up with. And I don't know how to, but I'm trying.
You're doing such a great job.
Thank you.
If nobody's giving you your flowers, I'm giving you your flowers.
Thank you. I'll take it. Yeah.
Okay. So you said you've been about 5 years into real estate. What is one lesson you've learned early on in your years to where now you have to be like, okay, I got to stay consistent. I learned that I'm not going to make that same mistake.
When I first joined, this lady, I was taking, multiple classes to kind of see what I need to. One thing she said, and I actually have always been like, I never judge people or anything like that. But one thing she always tell you is like, never, like when I mean never judge someone based on how they're dressed or how they look, or just like when they come in, like ask you a question. Because some people will come in like maybe they're not designed all the way down, or they just wearing their work boot, just something like that. And I have seen people who be like, that person can't afford $1 house. Her first multi-million-dollar contract was someone she saw. It was just a story she told us that kind of registered in my head. I always treat people the same way. I don't care who you are. She basically got her couple, multi-million-dollar on someone that came in, looked literally unkept, and she treated him like everybody else. And the person did call him back and say, look, thank you for basically she sold the house. She sold a house to him because she was welcoming and very nice. That always like registered in my head, like treat everybody the same. It doesn't matter how they look. And funny thing is, one of my biggest clients, one of my biggest investor, I met her at an open house, and we have closed 11 homes.
Shut up.
11 homes together. We're actually currently under contract on our 12th home right now. This is all in the last 3-4 years.
Wow.
Yes. When I met her, she came in and I was nice to her. She was actually walking out in the neighborhood, and that was her neighborhood that I was having an open house. And she just walked in. I was very nice to her, and we just talked. And she's like, oh, she just came in like, oh, I just want to look at the house. She didn't want to buy the house. She's just like, oh, I was just taking a walk with her husband. She was wearing like her leg, just a regular leggings with her husband, and they're just taking a walk in the neighborhood.
And they're just chilling.
And yeah, basically. So I could like be like, no, you don't. But I was like, oh yeah. She's like, I don't want to buy. I just want to look at it because I'm in the neighborhood. And she come in, she was asking questions. I answered. I was very nice to her. And I gave her my card. I was like, well, if you guys have any question, thanks for stopping by. And they left. I think like a day or two later, she called me.
That's wow.
Yeah. And now we are about to be on our 12th home together.
That's great.
Yeah. Even though we didn't buy that house, but we've been buying houses since then. And she gave me my first $1 million closing.
Oh, I love that for you. Just for treating people the way you want to be treated.
Yes. Even though she said that, it's always be like, okay, well, I'm always going to be nice to you until you are not nice to me.
Right.
It's like, treat people the way you want to be treated. And that's one thing about it. Keep going.
Okay, so I do want to jump into the relationship, like you mentioned, with investors. What does that relationship look like? Especially because on my end, I'm not sure. I'm learning real estate as I'm here with the people. So when I hear about these relationships, I'm wondering a little bit, like you said, it could just be a simple walkthrough. Y'all exchange information. But what does the next steps look like, or how are we going to come and collaborate on this particular deal? Like, what does those meetings look like, or conversations?
So everyone is different. Some people you'll meet right away and you just click. One thing is when I meet people, I try, part of my weakness is I need to be a little bit good in communication because my communication skill sometimes sucks. So I really bad. But when I meet people and we talk, I try to send a follow-up message to say, hey, it's nice meeting you. Or, if you ask me a question, that's another thing. They will ask me a question, or maybe like a specific property. I try to follow back up. And then from there, we'll talk about, okay, what do you want? What is it? Or even maybe depend on how the conversation go. We might talk about it right away. This is what I want. This is what is going on. And that will help me follow back up with you to let you know, okay, based on what we talked about, this is how we're going to go. Or even if we didn't talk much about it, just, keep in touch a little bit. I don't like to be aggressive on people. That's why sometimes I tell you my communication is not that great because I'm not salesy.
Right.
I don't know how to sell.
Just like an aggressive.
No. I mean, I think if I was, I'd probably go a little farther, but I don't know how to because I don't want to be bothered.
I'm going to say, you still breaking deals.
I'm trying, but I don't know how to push people. No, we're not doing that. It's more like however the conversation goes will kind of lead me on how I'm going to follow up with you. If it goes well, I put it in there, and however you go, I'll just follow it from there.
Got you. Does some of them end up being commercial or more residential, or is it like a combination?
So far right now, I'm doing all residential. That's what I specialize in all residential.
Just going to ask you about your specialty. Okay.
Yeah, more residential, new construction. Even if it's not, it's more residential. Anything new residential is where I am.
So we talked a little bit before this. You actually get involved with the renovations and the building and all of that jazz.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so what does that look like when it's a situation, because they say we buy ugly homes. And that's the only example I could think of. So at this point, you have an investor that wants to come in and just demolish everything. What does that look like to come in and help renovate and being a part of that entire process? Because again, you could just sell it and they're on their own, but you're with them throughout the entire process, right?
Yeah.
What does that look like?
I have never bought one that just demolished the whole thing, but basically got down the house, clean out the house and renovate it. Yes, I have, been in that situation, which I'm going to have one coming up soon. It's more like we talk about what they're looking for. Are they trying to flip a house? Because most of those will be like a flipper. They'll tell me okay, we want to flip a house. You have to find a house that is okay, let's say, for example, when this house is done, the neighborhood could potentially cost maybe $500,000. But with the condition that it is, if we have to buy maybe 100, and then to bring it to a good condition, it could cost another 150. So those are the things that we look at. How much are you selling it? My investors, I always run comps for them because they have to know, even if they're just buying just to rent, I have to run the comps for them. Potentially, you can rent it out for this amount, or you can sell it for this amount. They put the numbers together and say, okay, well, if I'm spending this amount, or some of them bring their own contractors to come in the house to look at it, and the contractor gave them a number okay, if I'm spending this amount to fix it and I'm paying this amount, so this is, and then after expenses, this is how much we got to sell it. So those are the things they have to put together. During the renovation, I come in and I look at everything. I do have my little opinions because sometimes they ask me and I'll tell them, well, this is nice or this is not a good idea. Let them know that, okay, it's good or it's not a good idea, and I'm basically there to look at it and make sure that they are doing the right thing. And I'm letting them know what is trending in the market. So yeah, basically I'm bringing okay, well, there's a house I saw. This is what is trending. I can take a picture, get a video and send it to them. And they will mimic something similar or even better and make it happen so that when the house is on the market, it sells faster.
Dang. So you're literally throughout the entire process holding hands, being a cheerleader, providing services, consulting. You're all the things.
I mean, because it's a relationship.
Right.
In real estate, it's all about relationship. And if you, I don't want to say it's not always about the check for me, because yeah, we do like the check too. But relationship goes a long way.
Right.
Because not every home that you get the top dollar out of, but sometimes it's who you are and the services you provide. That's what the client or the investor will remember, because of how good you are, how knowledgeable. And it was just not about, okay, we're done, bye, let's go.
Right.
So I like to build a relationship, because my business is based on referral. And the relationships that I build is basically how, like, I'm helping me grow.
Business. I love it. Okay. So good segue. We're going to talk about highs and lows, and it does not have to pertain to your business. It pertains to life. You choose. So we're going to start off with your highs. Anything that you can clap for and say, I did that, this was amazing, excitement, whatever the case may be. Let us know.
I don't even know. There's a lot of them.
I love that. Actually, I don't know which one it is.
Well, I will say I step out of the fade, and I stepped out of everything that I know, and I become a real estate agent. Mm-hmm. So that right there is one step that I am so grateful that I did. Mm-hmm. I was not gonna be stuck in a fantasy place that is dingy and I will be unhappy. So yeah, I did that. I chased my dream, and I'm happy about that. And I married my best friend. So I did that too.
Shout out to hubby, because let me tell you, she glows when she talks about you, okay?
Because he's the best, absolutely. He's so
good.
Supportive. He's my best friend.
That's so good.
Yeah. So.
All right, so on the other end of the spectrum, any type of situation that knocked on your door, you wasn't prepared for it, and you dealt with it, and you got to the other side, because of course you're still here today with us, right? So any type of story you want to share with us?
Let's just say that there was a point in my life where I didn't know where my next meal is going to come from. I don't even know where I'm going to sleep at that place. But that's why I work so hard, because I never want to go back to where I was or depending on anyone to take care of me. There was a time where I didn't have a place to stay. And I was able to overcome that. Now I'm never going back to that place or trying to find out like what's for dinner or what's like, where will I sleep tonight? So I'm just really grateful in life that I'm not there anymore.
I love that for you.
Thank you.
Okay, go ahead and give us one free advice. Anything, if it's real estate, life, anything of that nature, just so people can take this information and take the next steps. I feel like a lot of times people go to seminars, they be there for like an hour long and don't receive a thing from it. So anything, it could be one sentence, one word, anything that people can take as far as advice from you that they can take action on and go through next steps in life. I call this one free advice.
Oh, I don't even know what an advice. Okay. I think it's more like what everyone always say is like, go with your heart. Go where your heart is. Whether it's in a business, in a relationship, just go with whatever your heart tells you that's the right place, just go with it. That also goes in everything that I do, both in my career. My heart told me like, this is where I want to. I fought it for years. I fought it because initially, this is not where my family want me to be. And I was doing everything else. I was going from one degree to another, trying to find where I am. So it's basically like once I finally stood up and tell them like, no, this is what I want, I felt good. And that also goes in any relationship. And that goes to my husband, like me getting married. I know I had to fight to make it happen. But once I put my foot down and say, well, whether you like him or not, I marry him. They all come through, literally come through. And now everyone in my family loves him. They hate me though. No, my family loves him. So it's kind of like that. Basically, I followed my heart, and every time I stood my ground and said, this is what I want, and they know that after they fought, they couldn't get it out of me, they let it go, and it has been successful. I have always been successful. I have been happy in those places, both, like I said, relationship and life journey, like career. Best thing I ever did was just basically stood my ground and say, this is what I want. And it has been, and I'm grateful that I finally fight for myself, for my future. And so I'm really happy about that.
Go ahead and tell people how to get in touch with you, how to contact you. If they're looking for any business deals, you that girl, just let them know.
If you guys want to contact me, I am on Instagram at Ngozi Teah, Ngeteah. My phone number is 817-228-7211. If you guys are looking to invest in real estate, talk about real estate, even just need my advice or just want to pick my brain about real estate, give me a call. Help you buy, help you sell, help you invest. So
I love the tagline.
But yes, so yeah, give me a call. Let me know if you guys are interested in real estate, even if you're not ready to buy it right away. Because I know some people who's like, okay, I'm gonna be ready in a year. They have some things they're working on, maybe credit wise, or just want to know how much to save down. You don't have to be ready to contact me. You can talk to me and we'll work on it in 6 months and 1 year, just whenever you're ready. I don't push you to buy. You'll be ready when you're ready. But if you just want to get some general information, give me a call, send me a DM, and we'll make it happen.
All right, so this is the last thing. We do a motivational moment just to talk about anything that I've seen online. If it's a quote, a testimony, a verse from the Bible, anything of that nature, I bring it on here. I say my line, you say your line, any thoughts, and we're done.
Okay.
Okay, so this is a quote. Success in real estate starts when you believe you are worthy of it. As Wayne Dyer said, go for it now. The future is promised to no one. So take the first step today towards your real estate dreams.
That is true.
Like, okay.
That is true. That is actually true.
So when I first read this, I legit thought about the things that I want to do in life. If I'm serious about investing, I need to start doing certain things now. For example, not going out to eat every night, because Lord knows I love some good food. Not buying purses, not buying bags, not going to the club, because I do like some good music, live music. And I just have the power. Okay. I just have to prioritize if I want a certain lifestyle. Like, it's okay to sacrifice things now to be in a better space later. So now reading this, it's like, you want to move forward, you have to make sure that you do what you need to do now to move forward. So that's what I thought about. So what about you?
Well, yeah, I mean, basically the same thing. You got to go for it. I mean, it's definitely true, because you can never be ready in real estate. Even when you think you're ready, you're not ready, because something that will hit you. So the quote is basically explained everything. Just go whenever your thought says you're ready. Yes, you can prepare for other stuff, but if you can get your foot in, get your foot in. Once you get your foot in, you constantly learn. Even me, every day I learn. I'm always open to learning. I don't care who you are, I will learn from you. Even if you're a new agent, a seasoned agent, a veteran agent, I will learn from you. Real estate, always be open-minded to learn and go when you know, like, I wouldn't say when you're ready, but once you think about it, go for it. Don't wait for it. Don't wait.
That was cute. All right. Well, that's a wrap. Do you think I missed anything?
No.
Yay. All right. Well, I want to thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate that.
You're so welcome. And if you're listening to this morning, noon, evening, and night, thank you so much for tuning in, and we will see you guys next time.
I see you guys. Thank you for tuning in.
Deuces.
Thanks for joining us for another episode of What's Good podcast with your girl, Brianna Jovahn. If you found today's discussion inspiring, don't forget to hit the subscribe button on your preferred podcast platform. Explore additional resources on our website at whatsgood-productions.com and find our social media links listed in the show notes. Stay tuned for more captivating stories ahead. Until next time, stay blessed and keep uplifting your community.